Hello, welcome to class. I'm Omonwumi Folarin, your English tutor from the Royale Tutors, but you can call me your fluent friend. In the last class, you learned about pronouns. You learned the meaning of pronouns to say that they are words used instead of a noun in order to avoid repetitions. And then you also learned about the singular pronoun and the plural pronoun. And in the same last class, you were given an exercise to practice with and see how much you've learned in the class. So for today's class, we are going to start by providing answers to the exercises you were given, and then you get to see how far you've done or how far you've gone. So let's get started. So the instruction you have here is replace the nouns with pronouns. Replace the nouns with pronouns. Of course, pronouns are used to replace nouns. So let's see if you were able to replace the nouns with the appropriate pronouns. All right, so the first sentence you have here is Sarah is reading. Sarah is reading. So in this sentence, the first thing you need to do is identify the noun. And the noun here is Sarah. So now let's get to see what appropriate pronoun can be used to replace Sarah. I hope you got it right. Okay, she is reading. She is reading. So she is a pronoun used to replace Sarah. All right, now let's get to the second sentence. Ben and I are playing. Ben and I are playing. Now, what we have here is the plural noun. So, Ben and I can be used to represent the plural noun. And then that means that you have to replace with a plural pronoun also. And you were taught that in the last class. So, let's see how far you went. Okay, so our answer here is we are playing. We are playing. So if you wrote we, then you are right. The next one. The cat is eating. The cat is eating. Here, the cat is a noun and it is a singular noun. So let's see what pronoun is used. It. It is eating. So it is the pronoun used to replace the cat. Now, if you got all of them right, then you've done a wonderful job. But if you didn't, then don't worry at all, because today's class is also going to explain more on pronouns, and then you will be able to get all this perfectly. So for today's class, we're going to look at the types of pronoun, and then we are going to look at one important type of pronoun that you should know about. So let's get started. Personal pronoun. So one of the types of pronoun is personal pronoun. And then the meaning of personal pronoun is, or what personal pronoun is used for, is to replace the names of people or things. So personal pronoun is focused on replacing the names of people or things. All right. And then also you should know about a personal pronoun that it can be used in two positions in the sentence. It could either be at the subject's position or the object's position. Now, before you get racking your brain about what subject or object's position is, let's look at the meaning. Now, subject is the doer of an action. Subject is the doer of an action. So that is to say that subject is the one that performs the action in a sentence. Subject is the one that performs the action in a sentence. Now, one more thing you need to learn about subject is that it is usually or most times at the beginning of a sentence. It's usually at the beginning of a sentence. Let's look at a sentence as an example to see what I just explained. Bob found a dog. Bob found a dog. Now, I already said it. Subject is the doer of an action. All right. Now, the action here is found. Now, who found the dog? That is Bob. And also, as you can see, it is at the beginning of the sentence. So that makes Bob the subject. Let's see if we're right. Yes, we're right. So, Bob is the subject as it is on the line here. Now let's look at the meaning of objects. Yes, object is the receiver of the action. So whatever action is performed in a sentence, the receiver of the action, is the object. And also, just like subject, it is most times at the end of the sentence. So we're talking about their positions now. Subject's position is usually at the beginning, while object's position is usually at the end of the sentence. Subject is the doer of an action, while object is the receiver of an action. Now let's look at a sentence to explain the objects better. Again, Bob found a dog. Bob found a dog. Now, in this instance, we have to find out what the object is, what the receiver of an action is, of the action is. Now, in this sentence, what or who is receiving the action? If you said a dog, you were right. So a dog is the object. Now, let's see if you got it right. All right. Bob found a dog. We got it right. So a dog is the object. So I hope you understand the subject and the object and also their positions. All right, let's go on. Now we're going to look at examples of subjects and objects pronouns. Examples of subjects and objects pronouns. Bear in mind that all of the pronouns stated here are personal pronouns, but we have divided them based on their positions, what position they occupy in a sentence. So we have the subject pronouns, we have I, and then for the object pronoun, we have me. For subject pronoun, you, object pronoun, you also. So we have you at the beginning, you at the end. But we can only have I at the beginning and then me at the end. So for the third one, we have he for subject, him for object. The next one, she at the beginning, her at the ending or at the object's position. We also have it. So just like we have you, we can also have it. And then we have we at the subject's position or as the subject's pronoun, and then us as the object's pronoun. And then the last one we have here, they, subject, them, objects. Now let's do this quickly. I, me, you, he, him, she, her, it, we, us, they, them. That's very good. Now let's look at some examples. Tom plays football. Tom plays football. Okay, so let's look at which one we have to replace. We have Tom at the subject's position and then football at the object's position. Let's figure out which one we expected to replace with a pronoun. Okay, so Tom plays football. As you can see, Tom is underlined here. So we are expected to replace Tom with the appropriate pronoun. Now, how do we know which pronoun to use? We have to check what position Tom is in. So Tom is at the subject position. So that means whatever pronoun we're going to use must also be a subject pronoun. And let's see how that is done. Okay, so the pronoun used to replace Tom is he. He plays football. He plays football. All right, and as you can see, he is underlined to mean that it is at the subject's position. Okay, another example now. I saw Tom. I spoke to Tom. Already we have a repetition of noun here, so we have to do something about that. So Tom is underlined here, but as you can see here that the Tom underlined is at the object's position. So whatever pronoun we are going to use now must also be a pronoun that befits the object's position. Now let's see. I saw Tom. I spoke to him. I spoke to him. So that is to say that him is an object pronoun. Now imagine you say, I saw Tom. I spoke to he. That would be very wrong because he can only function at the subject's position, being a subject pronoun. And then imagine you said, him plays football. That is also very wrong because him can only function at the object position, being an object pronoun. All right, so let's go on to the next examples that we have. Sarah and I are going out. Sarah and I are going out. So here, let's see what is underlined. Although I think you should be able to guess what is underlined now. But let's see. Sarah and I. So we have Sarah and I, and that is at the subject's position. Yes, it's at the subject's position. So let's see what will replace Sarah and I with. We are going out. We are going out. Now, the reason for this is because we is at the subject's position, we is a subject pronoun, and we is also a plural pronoun. So it is the best pronoun that can be used to replace Sarah and I. Now to the next example. The teacher called Sarah and me. Now, the position has changed. So the teacher called Sarah and me. Sarah and me is no longer at the subject's position, as we can see here. It is now at the object's position. So, and we still have to replace it with something with a pronoun that is befitting. That means a pronoun that is at the object's position. Now let's see. The teacher called us. So us is the pronoun. It's the pronoun used to replace Sarah and me at the object's position. Okay, let's have a summary of everything we just learned. You have been told that personal pronouns are used to replace names of people, animals, places, or things. And also, you know now that personal pronouns can be in the subject's position or the object's position. Now, the same personal pronoun, which can be at the subject's positions. You have I, you, he, she, it, we, they. And then the ones that can be at the object's position, which are the object's pronouns, we have me, you, him, her, it, us, them. All right, that's good. Now, for today's class also, you're going to have practice questions to work with to check if you have truly learned something in today's class, which I am sure you have. Now for practice one, you have to choose the correct personal pronoun to complete each sentence. Okay, so you get to do this, and then for practice two, you're to underline the pronoun and write whether it is a subject or object pronoun. I'm sure you'll do great. And then I would be here in the next class to give you the corrections. So take care of yourself. Bye.